The day President Washington signed the Congressional Act to create the Department of War, he signed another Congressional Act. The other Congressional Act he signed you may have never heard of, but it has significant implications on the history of the United States. It is the act to provide for the government of the territory northwest of the Ohio River. And this act did many things. One of the things it did is it required Congress to select governors of all the states and territories until such time as the states and territories could set up their own local governments. It said for a state or territory to set up its own government, it had to have 5,000 free men. It also said that when it set up their own governments, it could have a representative in the federal government. But to be a representative in the state or federal government, that free man who was elected as a representative had to have 50 acres of land. It goes on deeper in the text to say that anyone in a state or territory who has a religious preference cannot be abused within any state or territory where he is practicing his religion. It also says that everyone within every state or territory has the right to a writ of habeas corpus and a jury trial. It says any fines have to be moderate and cruel and unusual punishment is not allowed. And it says the government can't take people's property unless it pays them for it, and it's absolutely necessary by law. It says that no laws are permitted that interfere with private contracts, and it says religion should be encouraged no matter what the religion is. And Native Americans' land and rights should not be taken away without their consent. It further says the states and territories of the United States must remain a state and territory of the United States forever and can never secede. It concludes by saying that slavery is outlawed in every new state and territory that is formed unless it's part of a prison punishment. However, if a slave escapes from a current state, that slave is considered a fugitive and can be returned to the slave owner. August 7th, 1789 created a lot of laws in the United States that had very important impacts, some of which became part of the Bill of Rights. How does that stack up against the Freedom Constitution? Well, the Freedom Constitution recognizes that you don't have to be a free man that owns lands to receive representation by the federal government. Article 8 of the Freedom Constitution defines both citizens and non-citizens as well as their rights. Article 8, Section 2, Paragraph H covers inequality. It says no form of segregation or inequality of justice, service, or treatment may exist in any public spaces, congressional legislation, executive action, judicial action, or other places defined by Congress on the basis of a long list of things. Paragraph G says no form of government may encourage, discourage, or otherwise comment any religion, nor any form of government inhibit any practice of any religion except in very specific instances, such as honor killings. And Article 5, Section 2, states neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, to include contractual servitude, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. So while President Washington was laying the groundwork for the eventual Bill of Rights and was laying the groundwork for representation by communities within the federal government, it was very limited in scope and only applied to certain people. And when that happens, there is no freedom. There is no safety. Because if you try to extend the safety of yourself to someone else, you could be violating the law, and you yourself could be placed in prison and be forced into slavery under that legislation. That's why the Freedom Founders want everyone to be granted safety without oppression, regardless of any attributes of the individual. Safety without oppression is not just a slogan on a hat, it's a way of life. But we do have hats if you want to purchase one. Link below.